Okay, folks, good morning. I don't know what I attempted to say there, but it was not successful. Let's try doing something a little bit different and see if I can get away with doing this. And let's see, we're not going to be able to do it like that. Okay. All right, so we're back working on the Panther because we needed to wait for the tracks to come out of the mold. And it turned out pretty well. Got 3 links up here, 2 links over here. I could have put more. I didn't want to interfere with the turret. And I don't think I'm going to put shirts in on it. I don't think so. I actually like the way it looks like better without it. I am going to put a little bit of sprue goo there and a little bit of sprue goo back here. Sprue goo. Scrogu Loktar. See what kind of consistency we're doing here. Probably needs a little bit of a refresher. And we'll use this before we did get a refill. It's pretty cool. The place in Ocala actually carries this, so I don't have to mail order this. Basically smells the same. This is the container this stuff comes in, and you would normally use like a paintbrush to apply it. Oh, I know where that stuff is. It's here. There we go. Now I find this. Now I find the other molds. Well, we had other Panther stuff done. What else do we have here? I'm organized. I just don't always put shit in the right place. So I'm in a hurry to put things away. That's what it is. Here's Panther track. And here's stuff for the King Tiger. Yeah, you get a lot of this material for, I think it was $10. I think it was $10. That's how much it was when I bought it. I don't know that I'll need to buy it again. Okay, now we'll put everything together. That's a good place for it also where I had it. came here for was that pipette. Put it in your pipette and smoke it. Probably not. This stuff's flammable. It doesn't smell like it's flammable. Actually, I might. This is way too low. This that spilled on the outside can get pushed back in. Now, the stuff that's on the lid, problem is that I had moved this at some point and it was upside down. Let's close this up. And the contact lens case works really well for this. I should have been using this stuff for years. But make sure you use a solvent or a glue that you like the smell of, because using this with something that smells like acetone would be really bad. I had a little piece of wire here. No, we could use one of these. I'm sure there's a. Now, I haven't tried this on an aircraft, but I'm going to. I'm actually going to fill that hole with it. I ended up having to drill that a little bit bigger because it got stuck in there. What's up, Wolfman? I take it that means you're on your mobile. Ben Waddy sits at the home base and the Wolfman travels. Okay. And I was halfway tempted to build some some U things for this, but I don't think I will. The little shackles. Shackle down. I don't know if this is the particular figure I'm going to use, but man, his pose is like made for this vehicle. He's got his arm like propped even in the right place. Like, what's the meaning of this? I don't really like his hat. It looks a little bit too bakerish. A little too soft. Soft like. Something about it. Make a good figure for like some post-apocalypse type thing. Dressed him in leathers and give him a big old beard like the new Rob Halford. You know, big fucking beard. We don't want that in a Panther tank. We want some clean cut Nazi stooge. Yeah, no, the hand position on this guy is perfect. I'm just not sure I want him. I want that headgear on him. That's all. Oh, this guy took a bullet to the back. This should be a great use for this. I'm not loving this. And now I should be able to that's just too damn big. Let's get a little paintbrush I don't think too much of. Something of this little bastard. Might as well do this house clown as well. No, regardless, this is a lot easier to use than say something like Squadron Putty or something like that. At least for me, I'm not good at using those things. They go on too thick, and then you gotta wait, and then you gotta sand. You have to figure out how to sand, how to get something in there to sand it down. Okay. Happy Wednesday, the longest day of the week. I don't know when I get to leave, when I'm able to leave work on Wednesdays. It's not up to me. I think we're good. I think this thing's ready for. Yeah, I thought about splitting this thing up in pieces and putting some of the shirts in on and some of it off, and most of the Panthers you see without it. Seems like the later in the war, the less you see it also. Good morning, Marcus. Yeah, I thought that opening in the hatch was going to be an issue, but doesn't look like it. Now if this one's glued, we're going to put 2 crew members in this. By the way, does this guy fit waist-wise in there? No. We would have had to shave him down a little bit more. So this is a couple War Games Foundry guys. And this guy is just, one guy doesn't look that important. He's just a loader. He's just a lowly loader. He's looking out from behind his hatch. T-34 style. What's up, Tritarch? Tritarch! It's Tritarch, damn it! Yeah, so this is going to be a cursed tiger. This is going to be like a bulge panther or something like that. Maybe a panther that goes into Hungary. Late war. It might have snow on it. I don't know. And this is the late tiger from Dragon. And then this tiger, which looks a little bit like a melted asshole. These are both going to be cursed tigers. And they may even be a base gray with overspray in a light color. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them yet, but... Fit Yadin. No, I'm not going to put my Dean in that. It might get stuck. All right, and the antenna for this son of a bitch is here. So we're going to drill that out. I don't know if it's on the same thing on the... I don't mind the way the Zimmerit looks. I'm just not going to put it on myself. That's like a nightmare. That's like... I don't need that kind of turmoil in my life. Maybe one day I'll decide to do it, but... All right, let's do the crappy one first. This one says Hasegawa made in Japan, and it's not melted over the Japan part. I guess whenever they made it, they were proud of being Japanese. All right, do we have an active... what's hanging out in the... Nothing! We got nothing in there. One big cat and 3 heckin' conklers. Tiger is a fat cat. No, you know, it just has room in a tank like it should probably have. You know, not some cluster. Oh, that's why I didn't have it on there. I was using those other drill bits. I had one of them that snapped. Those cheap ass things. Of course, these are cheap ass too, but let's see how deep we went. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe too much. No big deal. What we're putting in there is not going to weigh anything. Yeah, this has got glue and shit. better leave that alone. We still have our little screwdriver over here. Yes. Let's fire up the candle. We don't have anything flammable. I don't want to be that guy. Let's light a candle. Oh, Kumba freaking ya. Should be here if I put things back where they go. Which apparently I love not to do. Oh, because I hadn't put it away yet. Where's my producer? Or is it a director? Maybe I need both. The hell's this on the end? Like paint or something. I'm gonna heat this thing up. You've set yourself on fire? I'm not that talented. I'd probably miss. Guy tried to set himself on fire and missed. Oh, so he didn't set himself on fire? No, he set the guy on fire next to him. Whoopsie. That's it. Captain Chancla and the Zapatazos. Is Spanish your girl's first language? Or she just speaks it with her folks? I have a feeling she just speaks it with her folks. It involved gasoline, moonshine, and a galaxy's worth of stupidity. I've never done anything stupid while drinking. Other than having too much to drink. But that's not stupid. That's happened to everybody. I mean, I've done you leave me somewhere drinking and I'm not gonna cause any problems. I haven't done it yet anyways. Never got mad. Yeah. I'm not too keen on I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but first of all, I don't think they're low enough. I don't think they cover enough of the... If you mount these like they're supposed to be, It should cover more of the road wheels than that. She speaks Spanglish mostly. Okay, so she's, you know. Maybe not. That just covers just a little bit. These guys are due to get primed soon. It's a little high. Man, if we use this one to be the right size, that's for sure. How many of these PSCs do I have? I like the idea of putting somebody else's side things on it. I do have both, don't I? Yeah, here's the other one. All right, let's become better at something. Oh no. There we go. Which is basically angry Spanish and English mixed in whenever I aggravate her. Well, it's a lot easier to get angry in Spanish. Let's take this one off too. This is these look nice, but this is the earlier exhaust. I put the later exhaust on the other Panthers. I looked at pictures and they seem to have those more often. Now, these actually have indentations instead of raised portions where the sections go. So I'm going to remove, because these little prop things don't come in handy at all, anywhere when they go. We're going to have to take one of them off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're too long on here. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. But that little piece propped up there, that's just going to be noticeable, and it's just kind of weird. So we're going to remove that. And we're going to remove this down here. And I know this thing's too thick, but we're not that, we don't nerd out on that. Okay. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Now, one thing I hate about Panzer uniforms is, actually, I'm not a fan of the Panzer uniform. Some people think it looks really slick. I don't like double-breasted thing. Certainly not if you're going to war. Double-breasted doesn't seem right. not a fan of those. I don't really like. I don't really like their gear. Don't like the little booties. The mini boots they wear. All right. This is going from basically the slope see if this goes from the slope basically there. It's a little long. Well, one way you solve that is I hate the fact that I actually pulled this track down nicely and then we're gonna cover it up. Like I could have like not tied it down. I could have like, you know, done a shitty job. Like it wouldn't have mattered. Right? Mm. Let's do it. Because the reality is I can totally see getting another one of these. I would have bought 3 more if they were $5. Maybe even more. Now, what's the advantage of actually putting a brake in this? Not that much. I'm going to split the difference and just score this so it's deeper. to bring it in just a little bit. Because when there's nothing there, it makes the gap look even bigger. All right. And that'll give us 2 spares for this side. I'm glad I paint my own German crosses because, man, that saves a ton of buying decals, trying to find ones that fit. Especially on those darn Panzer IIIs. I like putting pieces from one model onto another. And then it's like, hey, this is not available in stores. Now, if I had a G that had Zimrit on it, I probably would have cast some of the road wheels and make some for the 116th Panzer at Normandy. But it'd have to have Zimrit. All the Panthers at Normandy are going to have Zimrit. All the Panzer IVs at Normandy are also going to have Zimrit. Unless you got like a Panzer, the ones in the 21st, whatever those things were. Panzer, I think they had some Panzer IV-Cs painted yellow. That's just an aberration. I'm officially off the clock. I can sleep for a few hours. Okay, man. You painted your own cross and the colonne form thing, the Panzer III symbol. Both fairly easy. They are. Yep, just take it one stroke at a time. and it's satisfying. I spent a lot of time looking for like the cross. Now this one's too big. This one doesn't fit in there. That doesn't, you know. It's basically that's what it is. Doesn't fit in there like the little superstructure part of the Panzer III is really short. It's hard to find one in that size. I'm going to leave the back open like that. So that's the shirts in that we're doing on the Panther. Some are teeth. Some are there, some are not. Some are shirts in. Some are there, some are not. Some are teeth. That's like the seafood diet. That's the diet I'm on. The seafood diet. You see it, eat it. Okay. I think this is everything that we're going to do to this guy. What happens when I decide to prod this? Actually looks all right. Okay. Well, here's what the Panther's going to look like. This Panther, anyways. And it's not going to be greenish. It won't look like that. I may do ambush on it. Or what I find out? Light and shadow. Light and shadow camo. That's what it is. All right, what do we got? 6 o'clock? Well, now, oh look, a hair tie for when I grow my man bun. The 12th of never is when that's going to happen. Mark that on your calendars. Put it in your man bun. What's up, Justin? You don't have a man bun, do you? It's fine if you do, but... I grew up at a time where you needed to conform or you'd be made fun of. All right. I gotta remember what order to do these things in because this is like a tongue twister. So when we get home, if I feel up for it, I can probably prime these tigers. All right. So there's 5 more of these. Let's do these in sub-assemblies. This plastic is a weird combination of soft and hard. And by soft, I mean pastel-like. You know, like artist pastels. Which way back in the day, That was what you used for weathering. You take some sandpaper to it, turn it into powder, then you apply the powder on the tank. And the problem, of course, was sealing it. You had to seal it with something and hopefully not use too much of it and wash it away. Let's build these sub-assemblies here. Now that I put one together, I can realize, okay, you do that, don't do that. Don't do this, do that. I can't imagine doing this in a room that has carpet. I vacuum in here frequently. Got little bits of plastic. Why is a message held for review? Be a Florida yuppie. You got them ass clowns out there. California people. Yuppies. Do yuppies exist anymore? I don't know. We're ate up with hippies here. People that show up in pajamas. Like, dude, man. Walmart wear. I drove through some parts of Florida that I've never been in before. And now I know why. Like, holy shit. There is some. Not even in a place I would consider backwoods. You know, because like the panhandle, that's the part of Florida Alabama didn't want. You guys want that? Hell no, them people inbred, you know. But meth heads walking around on the road and stuff like that. Of course, that's probably everywhere. No yuppies too cold for them. Well, you got those people up north. Like when I went to Connecticut one time, I saw a breed of people that I've never seen before. These fisherman type women, like, look like they've been out on a shrimp boat and they've been used for bait. You know, younger than I am, and they got, you know, hard weather beaten people. Hard weather beaten people that love to pay taxes. Oh yeah, sign us up for more taxes. Well, at least you got a basement those people can hide in, like trolls. Send the hippies to Alligator Alcatraz and Dade Collier. I didn't click on that article, but I saw that article. If they're gonna go, you know, if they're gonna go after people that shouldn't be here, let's just hope they. But again, it's the government, so I doubt that they went about it orderly. But if it wasn't the government, it'd just be fucking corrupt. So you lose, you lose. So I hope to go after people that are like bad people first. You know what I mean? Like, because we should I mean, I prioritize everything I do on a daily basis. Maybe not here, but at work I do. So I hope it's prioritized. Like, all right, we got to find out what the gang members are. Like, okay, go after all the people that hate America first. You know? I was listening to somebody. I forgot who it was. It was a comedian. I don't know. It wasn't. And they basically said, God, who was that? It wasn't. It wasn't more than a week ago. And he said something along the lines of, if you're here illegally, keep a low profile. Like, don't make a nuisance of yourself, right? If you're not supposed to be here, and you're making a nuisance of yourself, if you're causing problems, like, you're not helping your cause. You're not helping your cause being a nuisance. You're blessed with a basement. Death penalty in 50 states. Yeah, death penalty doesn't work. Death penalty doesn't work because, you'll find out, hey, they executed somebody for a crime they did in 1982. I'm like, really? I mean, I get it. You got to make sure that you get the right person. But, you should put courtrooms like on cliffsides. So it's like, okay, you're sentenced to death and you just sling you off to the side and you get dashed on the rocks or whatever. I know, you got to make sure you don't incriminate the right person. It's true, but, that's just, way too long, man. I mean, he's been in jail so long. He's built up a relationship with several other men. They have a bond. They built a family in prison. Man, this is some finicky stuff right here. Do all houses not have basements? I just figured all houses have basements up north. You know, the problem with a basement is you got a subfloor. And I've never lived in a house with a subfloor. Meaning when you walk across the floor, you could like hear it. You know, I've always lived on a monolithic slab. I just hate to shovel shit. Like I'm still scarred from raking 103 bags of leaves from that damn oak tree we had in the backyard. I'm like, I'm never raking again. These hands ain't made for raking. I don't mind other manual labor, but not that. Okay, I believe these can be glued together and they don't interfere with anything else. They're independent of issues like that. I wonder what percentage of homes don't have them. I'm not talking about mobile homes. Obviously, a mobile home wouldn't have one. That's where you think mobile homes would be more prevalent. Be in some place like Michigan. Not in Florida where they can get blown away. They could. I guess you get so much snow on a mobile home over there, it could cave the roof in, I guess. You guys have a state income tax up there, don't you? I'm pretty sure. I think only 5 states that don't have an income tax, state income tax. Like, what do you get for that state income tax? Do you get like traffic lights that are synchronized? I mean, that might be worth it, you know? Synchronized traffic lights. Only one place I know that has it. That's in downtown Jacksonville. If you're going through downtown Jacksonville, you'll catch one light, and that's the only one you'll stop at. I mean, assuming you're not going like extra slow just to prove a point. If you're going the speed limit, you go through downtown Jacksonville, you'll hit one light. And that's it. Why can't other places do that? Okay, those are all done. Now we got to put the little yin yangs. That's what they are, because it's one way and one's the other way. I'm I'm not going to use the clippers on this. I'm going to use this because I can hold on to this piece better. Man, I miss the days we'd go into like a hobby store or this. Even before we have a hobby store, we had this place here in town in a strip mall called, I think it was called Toy King. And they didn't just have toys, they had, models and stuff like that. They probably went out of business probably 1983, something like that. I saw a couple vendors at the show had some really stuff that just brought back some memories. All those 1/600 scale Airfix models, well, they were MPCs here. A couple of them were in MPC boxes. The Suffolk, I saw the Suffolk there. Somebody had a 600 scale Warspite. That one never made it as an MPC. Of course, I wouldn't want any of those. They're not waterline. One guy had a fair amount of 1/700 scale ships. We're not getting into that. That's too. What would I do with that? I need a walkie-talkie to war game, and I need a big field that was painted blue. You have a lot of road construction in Michigan because of the damn harsh winters. We don't have a lot of road construction here. They take the tax money and use it for other things. Oh, we're going to levy a tax for roads, and they don't fix the roads. The last house I was at, we were there 20 years. I think pretty close to exactly 20 years. And there was a 2-lane road that fed the neighborhood. That fed beside the neighborhood and connected a couple other major highways. And the whole time we were there, that road needed to be fixed. It needed to be paved. They didn't pave it once in 20 years. And they still haven't paved it. It's funny because we wanted them to put high-speed internet, and they didn't put high-speed internet in the neighborhood. Oh, we can't because of this, that, and the other. And then as soon as we leave, they're putting it in there. But I think it's fucked up, actually. There was an issue with it. I don't know what the drama is, but my mom still lives in that neighborhood. She still lives 7 houses down from where we used to live, so. Man, you get used to not living in a house that close to another house real quick. And it's not that I need a lot of space, but man, when you live that close to somebody else, every time you go and do anything, it's like you got to be friendly with somebody else, which is all right. But if the other person isn't friendly, it's awkward. Like, dude, you're like 15 feet from me. Maybe not 15 feet, but 30. And it's fine until you got a neighbor that doesn't give a shit about his house. We had that crazy guy that used to live next door. He definitely drank some of that water in Michigan. That Flint water. Something was wrong with him. His fence fell down, he didn't fix it. Of course, Mitch has that same neighbor. I went over to his house, and I haven't been to his house in, 8 months or something like that. And the fence had fallen down between him and his neighbor. So is the neighbor going to fix the house? The fence? No. I'm like, man, people like that I can't live in a neighborhood with people like that. Like, they'll drive the price of your house down. It's just disrespectful. One of them wooden wattle fences. blessed with well water that's 175 feet deep. Yeah, I guess that's pretty deep. I don't know anything about wells, so. I know I had a friend of mine that lived in a country town. He built like this modern house in a country town. There's actually modern houses in the neighborhood. And he had a well, but his well smelled like rotten eggs. Like, man, it's hard to be motivated to wash your hands in somebody's house when it smells like rotten eggs. You know what I mean? Rookie fee, rookie fee. What's up, man? Rookie dookie. Sounds like something that what's his name would have said. Oh shit! I shouldn't have mentioned that. What's his? Now I gotta look it up. You know, the character on the Battle of the Planets, the little kid that always talked in, at least the American version, he always talked in, like stupidity. Oh man. We got good water here. An Airbnb in Maine. Look out, the state's full of maniacs. We stayed at an Airbnb in Brunswick, Georgia one time. And we went to the there was this tile work that was in this old house from like the 20s or whatever that they had turned into a big Victorian type house. And there's this tile work in the, what would you call it? Well, the fireplace. Like you got the fireplaces here and tile work in front of the fireplace, and it's all these like swastikas. And like the irony about it is, it was a house that the owner was Jewish. Like, kind of weird, man. I wouldn't have that in my house. I'd take that shit off. Like me moving into a house has a bunch of hammer and sickles in it. I'm like, that shit's gotta go, man. 3 days ago, I got to sit in a Porsche 911 Turbo S. Did you ride in it, or you just like went to a Porsche dealer and sat in one? Now, I have a feeling I would not enjoy driving that car. It's a little too can get away from you. I know a guy that supposedly, I've never seen him, but he's posted pictures on Facebook. He has a Viper. And just from playing video games in a Viper, I would not want to drive a Viper. It's just unsatisfying about something being that loose. Yeah, I wouldn't want to drive a 911 on a wet on wet ground. The rear end would get away from you. It's definitely a good looking car. They always have been. Well, I like them anyways. I actually saw a Mustang the other day. I've said this before. I'm not a domestic car fan, unfortunately. And I'm not a Mustang fan. But I saw a Mustang that I like, and I forget what year it is. 68, 69, 70, 71. The big meaty looking one. Somebody had a red one. I was like, oh, that's a good looking car. On the outside anyways. Probably has one of those steering wheels where you do this to it, the car doesn't move. And you can move the steering wheel 3 or 4 inches each way, and the car doesn't budge from a straight line. I'm like, that's a little too loose for my taste. Okay, what else? That's subassembly. We got all those. Is it time to put this? Now, what we've learned is we need to put this in first before anything else. And this the one piece I didn't pull out, that's the one that needs to locks it in place last. Driving in Michigan on the icy roads, that's not satisfying. I've only driven in snow conditions once, and it was with a four-wheel drive Jeep, like a Wrangler Jeep. I mean that's what a Jeep is. If you have a Jeep Cherokee, that's not a Jeep. I mean it is, but when people say you got a Jeep, they're thinking you got some kind of a Wrangler thing. I need to get something to I need to get something to drink. I need to get some soda. Not some soda, some what do you call it stuff? Tea. I've only had one vehicle that was rear wheel drive. They say I know of a Jew that has a bunch of Nazi flags. No. They owned an Airbnb in Georgia, and it was an old Victorian house. It was a nice house, like it was like on a main corner, big house, might have even been a 3-story house. From like the teens or whatever. Wooden siding, porch, big porch or whatever, and on the you got the mantle of your fireplace, the bottom part of the mantle. So like wherever the foot is, like where you have tile there. So if you have a wooden floor, you don't have a wooden floor right up against your fireplace. So it could catch fire or get damaged or whatever. And on that design was like tile work that was swastikas, like repeating over and over again. It was red and it was not red and white. It was green and white. I have a picture of it somewhere. Like I wouldn't have that in my house. I wouldn't have that in my house anyways. That's just I mean I know it's an ancient symbol or okay whatever. You don't want that in your house. It belongs on the tail of your airplane models, not anywhere else. Let's open this up a little bit. Let's see if we can keep this from snapping. This is definitely not a model for the lighthearted. I wonder if the guy sold it because he took one look at it and goes, I better not mess with this. That was the woman who was selling this stuff. I was like, this is my husband's collection. She had an attitude. She couldn't wait to get rid of this shit. I'm glad I didn't marry her. Probably can't cook either. I ain't putting up with that shit. Did you ask him about it? I didn't. I didn't set the whole thing up. It was weird, man. You know, it's in the United States. It's probably something that was just a. It probably predates the Third Reich. You know. But I'd be like, okay, well, let's change that shit. I mean, there's other meanings to the swastika. I don't think there's another meaning to the hammer and sickle. So I don't handle the Airbnb negotiations. That's It was a cool house. It was one of those houses that somebody would say that, oh, the house seems haunted. Not when it's that clean on a main street. I ain't worried about ghosts and shit like that. Of course, I've never had one. I've never had an experience that would make me think about something like that. But I'm also not in a hunt for extra things to believe in. Like people are looking for even more shit to be scared of. Like, no, nope, not me. Well, that one went in okay. Come on, I got one left to do without it snapping. Come on. What a pain in the ass design this is. This is the opposite of Plastic Soldier Company. The opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, this, people complain about separate link track. Separate link track is a breeze compared to this. Separate link track's actually really satisfying. Wouldn't have said that 30 years ago. You can get through all these road wheels, and then we'll call it a we'll call it a morning. Sand mine 30. Salt mine 30, sorry. Make sure we're looking good on the Panther. We don't have something that's fallen down or something like that. Okay. And then this will end up gluing to the back side. So many little parts. All right, folks. That's it. So we'll see you guys either this evening or in the morning.